you're a person who believes in freedom of speech, you have to fight and say what you feel and let the chips fall where they may.
You ever have that feeling where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
You want a war you can't win?
You can't say whatever you want and then face some sort of repercussions for it later.
Hey, fun, son! Nothing else in the world smells like that!
Kansas has possibly the weakest open records law in the country.
Retaliatory animus, had it not been for that negative feeling towards speech, they would have not done that.
You think you can still control my life, control never yours to take.
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
Wishing you could see things once my way, when it all gets ripped away.
I know the smell of napalm in the morning.
I can't hide, you made it bring so far away. Sometimes it gets hard to breathe when it's thrown up in my face. Taxis, most of the boys are only taking calls for cash. I don't know how it happened. It all took place so quick. But all I can do is hand it to you and your latest trick.
Oh boy, this one today watching.
What's up, man?
Were you there today watching? Did you watch the live stream of this hearing that this woman put on today?
Yep, I seen what she had to say, and that's what we're here to talk about.
Man, I'll tell you what, I've not seen a prosecutor so willing to lie in court and misconstrue facts, and she does it over and over and over. It's crazy. Let's where do you want to start on this, man? Do we want to take a look at the motion, or there's just so much. Do you want to dive right into the hearing?
Yeah, probably should. Let's just dive into the hearing. But it's kind of important to note here is that, with Jill Gillett, she's the county prosecutor there in Elk County. Me and Michael, we're not just going at Jill Gillett for no reason. She came at us when we first went down there, and she came at us for no reason and started lying about things that we were doing, and she was lying about it in court. And so that it all stems from those lies. And so there was a hearing again this morning, and she gets on there and she says some more bullshit. And so we just want to kind of talk about it a little bit because set the record straight.
You mentioned that about how things started, about how she came at us. Now I'm going to go ahead. I know where to start this now. I'm going to put up this is the email that I sent to her after I watched this hearing today. And she continues to make veiled threats of charges against myself and my associates. And that's the reason she'll continue to be a feature segment. She acts like this is some kind of a vendetta against her solely over Robert. No, this has nothing to do with Robert. This is the way she's behaved down there. And I sent this to her. If she's going to bring a charge, then fucking file it. Otherwise, she'd be best served by discontinuing her bitch-like behavior. I mean, this is the reality of it. We didn't know anybody in Elk County 3 months ago. Nobody. I mean, I know a couple of people that have land down there, but it's not, I've never been down there and spent a lot of time there. Jill showed everybody who she was all by herself. And I swear to God, I'm going to follow her career right to the end because, and it's not us doing that. It's her own misconduct and lies. So.
Yeah, and so what she said today in the court had to do with we had gone down there, what was it, a little over 2 weeks ago, and we went there for the commission meeting, and she was there as well. And when she left the commission meeting room to walk up to her office, we followed her and were asking her questions. because like we've just been kind of been talking about right there. She is at one point in time they were talking about filing charges on us, and we still really don't even know what's happened with that. And so we're asking her questions about that stuff. And as we walk up the stairs to her office, and once you get upstairs and go into that hallway, there's a door there, a big wood door, and she goes through it first, and Michael is following behind her, and she gets on the other side of the door and doesn't let go of the doorknob. And Michael's got the doorknob at the same time because he's thinking she's shutting the door and he's gonna open the door, but she's holding it. And in the process of that, it just kind of her pulling it and Michael pulling it because he's trying to open the door. The door opens and it hits the wall and everything. And so immediately we go and we tell Deputy Love, and then we also want to press charges against her because
she interfered with business in a public building.
Right, and that's
exactly. I'll swear to if Nicole and John can't ask somebody why they gave up their ID, how the hell can this woman hold a door on us? Let's watch a little bit of this hearing, Justin. We'll get into the whole details in 9th. I got that video up here ready too. We're going to watch exactly what happened and show everybody how this woman just lies, man. Let's get some volume here.
However, you've been with this defendant for 14 months now, and only now you find out that there are some conflicts that you now believe to be unable to be reconciled?
Your Honor.
Now, Robert Walker, his attorney has moved to withdrawal because him and Robert had gotten to irreconcilable difference, which in my outsider's view, because I don't think House has been doing a very good job of representing him. So I think this is probably a good overall thing. It's a matter of who he gets and whether they're going to be able to manage the case. But listen to the argument that House makes here. Keep in mind, this is his attorney, right?
The matters concerning social media and so forth, I've talked with my clients about it. And as I indicated in the motion,
and you see Jill down here in the corner smiling. And this is something, another thing, the judge will get on Robert for acting like that. But this prosecutor, I see her making faces and chewing on shit all the time during hearings.
Indicated they had no direct involvement in that, but it has evolved to a place that I know it's created a big distraction at the courthouse.
Now, Justin, let's address that real quick. He's saying that it's created a big distraction at the courthouse, and he's speaking to this in the terms of, I'm assuming because I've never seen him at the courthouse. So I don't know what he's speaking to. I think he's probably going on the hearsay, but the distraction that he's talking about, or that he's referring to, that he likes to call a distraction, is you and I down there asking questions, I think, and Kansas Freedom News down there asking questions. And those have had nothing to do with the hearings. We haven't been around for the hearings.
Yeah, I don't really know what he's referencing.
Well, I think he's taken up Jill's fight here, honestly, in my own opinion, because she's the one that has a problem with all the questions being asked.
Well, let's hear what Jill's got to say then.
Well, she's not going to talk for a while.
Robert and I,
listen.
I think we've probably gone different ways on how his case ought to be defended. I was more concerned about the felony charge, which, if convicted, carried possible penitentiary time. And Robert is concerned about First and Fourth Amendment rights and the fact that he probably shouldn't have been arrested in the first place. And so we're going down different roads there. And then, as I indicated, also I've got some medical issues right now that make it hard for me to, try a case that's going to last multiple days.
Now that's the real reason. But listen on here.
That particularly was the reason for that. in conversation early last week, I just asked Robert, "Are you dissatisfied with my services?" And he said, "Well, yeah, yes, I am. I don't think things have been moving fast enough, and there's things you haven't done, and there's motions that you need to file." And so that's the reason for moving at this late date. But I thought with the medical issues that might come up at the end of this next month, I needed to consider getting out of the case, and Robert agreed.
All right. Well, generally you're allowed to speak for your client, but in this situation, I'm going to address Mr. Walker personally, both in his written motion and here orally. He's asserted that you support this withdrawal. Is that correct, Mr. Walker?
Yes,
do you intend to retain counsel to take his place?
Do what?
Do you intend to hire counsel to take his place?
I don't have the means to hire an attorney. And he was appointed there, and I figured that I would be able to get another one appointed that would take up the case.
Has your financial situation changed since Mr. House was appointed?
No, it has not.
I've dealt with Mr. House for many years. He's always had complete candor with this court. And he has a high level of credibility when he makes assertions of fact. I certainly am somewhat sympathetic to Mr. House's situation. I'm going to go ahead and grant the motion for withdrawal this time and relieve Mr. House from further responsibility as Mr. Walker's court-appointed attorney. With that said, Mr. Walker, I have no intention of continuing this trial. This comes up about 5 weeks before your trial date. I don't want to continue this. It's already been continued once. I feel like that another delay in this case would compromise both parties. We need to get a final resolution of this matter. So this court will attempt to appoint a new lawyer who has the freedom to get up to speed and be ready to try this case in November. I will reiterate that we've got a jury trial set to begin on Wednesday, November the 6th. We have a pretrial conference by Zoom. At this point, it's scheduled to be by Zoom. 10 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday, October the 30th. Mr. Walker, you still have the obligation of appearing for that pretrial conference by Zoom. If feasible, I would prefer that you be in the office of your court-appointed attorney, whoever that may be. But you do have the obligation to fully participate by video and audio means for the October 30th date, unless the court converts it to in-person, which is a possibility. But at this point, I'm going to leave it as Zoom. So at this point, Mr. House, I just need you to submit an order permitting your withdrawal in connection with what we've done this morning. I trust you can get that done before you leave.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right. Now, before Gillett speaks, did everybody catch that there? That we go back, was it about right? And see, I'm getting a hiccup here.
His place?
Do what?
Do you intend to hire counsel to take his place? Generally, you're allowed to speak for your client, but in this, tend to hire
up the case.
Has your financial situation changed since Mr. House was appointed?
No, it hasn't.
Well, it's back when he talked about, Justin, when he talked about the different ways they were seeing the case. Mr. House talked about how he was seeing it as a felony and that the risk of prison was more important. And Robert, it was indicated by the attorney saying that he thought the First and Fourth Amendment violations were more important and that the arrest shouldn't have ever happened. Where do you see that? And I guess I'm wondering why the attorney isn't doing more of what the client wanted.
Well, I don't know. I don't really want to weigh on exactly what is going on with his case at all, because I don't really know other than what I'm seeing right there. who knows? Who
Well,
knows?
in just general situations, though, when we have a defendant and a court-appointed attorney, does the court-appointed attorney get to determine where everything goes and how everything goes, or does the defendant have any say in this?
Well, the attorney is representing that person, meaning that they are essentially that person with the law mind. They're speaking for them. So yes, you would hope that the defendant has a lot of say. Yeah, you would hope.
I'm just curious if that's not. I don't know. I thought it was a normal thing. The attorneys that I've dealt, maybe that's why I haven't gotten along with some attorneys. But the ones that I do get along with, it's a cooperation. You know, you're together in the defense and you're cooperating on it.
Cooperation. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now I want to get back up here where he's going to ask Gillett to go ahead and make any comments that she needs to make here. And she, you know, the motion's already been granted for House to get off the case, but she's got to go ahead and get her digs in here. Take a listen, guys.
Request that you need to make at this time.
Judge, I didn't have an objection to Mr. House withdrawing. He told me that he was going to, and he filed the motion. Same as you, I know Mr. House's candor. He was previously a judge that I practiced in front of, so I do know that he only withdraws when it's necessary. So I didn't have any objection to him withdrawing. Scheduling wise, we've got everyone subpoenaed, so we're ready to go. I'm just concerned about the amping up of actions by those parties that have continued to make efforts on our behalf of Mr. Walker, and including people following me up the stairs. I tried to stay calm and they yanked a door out of my hand, which actually could result in charges of battery of an LEO.
Now here she is again. She's going to try to claim that battery on an LEO would apply here.
And she's also claiming that what happened didn't happen. She's saying that she calmly held the door. No, she's the one that held the door, which is why we were going to file charges, which we were talking about. Once that happened, we went down and we talked to Deputy Love to file the charges on her.
Exactly.
Because if they were going to file charges, part of the reason why what we were asking her as we were walking up the stairs is that they were going to file charges on us for interfering with public business by going into the clerk's office, although they had no evidence of it whatsoever. And to the contrary, we had evidence that nothing like that happened at all. And so if they were going to get us for that, and if they were going to get Nicole and John for simply talking to someone, Deputy Love straight up says, when you talk to them, you broke the law. And so if that's breaking the law, then Jill, physically preventing you from walking through the door for what reason? You weren't doing anything other than asking her legitimate questions about her job. It wasn't like we were asking her favorite color or what she thought of the weather. We were asking her legitimate questions while recording it, because we're reporting on it, specifically about her job. And so that's allowed. That's called conducting business. And so she was preventing you from doing that further from, and who knows, maybe you were going over to the on the other, in that hallway there is the court clerk, I guess.
Well,
maybe you were going there. Maybe you were going there.
I was interested in getting an answer from Jill. I don't mind saying that. I was interested in getting an answer from her as to why she kept lying about us and why she kept trying to bring up false charges.
And that's fine.
For her to hold that door in a public building like that for whatever reason is still a problem. And for her now to claim that it's battery, Justin.
Right. Yeah. So you didn't make contact with her. The door didn't even swing towards her. It swung towards you anyways. And so what exactly would the battery have been? I mean, I see you got the statute up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What exactly would that battery have been? I understand that making contact is battery, but in that instance, Jill wasn't even touched.
Well, and do you see how common that is? I mean, because Robert's got charges of battery LEO, and that was an officer assaulting him, and it ended up getting battery LEO. And here we are, a person involved in the courthouse holding the door, actually causing an interference. It's 21-5922. She's interfering with the conduct of business in a public building. But now she's going to try to turn it around and make it battery. And that's just insane. Better yet, here in a second, she claims that she's an
law enforcement officer in my acting duties.
She says she's a law enforcement officer in her acting duties.
Including people following me up the stairs, I tried to stay calm and they yanked a door out of my hand, which actually could result in charges of battery of an LEO, because I am a law enforcement officer in my acting duties. So
she look how she phrased it. Look how she said that. They pulled the door out of my hand. Who is she saying is they? I mean, is she saying multiple people? Like we were both doing that? Why is she saying it like that?
Well, the only person that had a hold of the door was me, and we had it on our video. You know,
exactly. I don't know why she's phrasing it like they. She's not saying they in some like general sense. She's specifically saying it as this entity of these guys were yanking the door out of my hands, and that's not true on either account. There wasn't they. It wasn't me and you, and also she was the one that was yanking the damn door anyways.
Exactly. Hey, I want to welcome Drew over at Reno 911, auditing Reno 911. He's in here. First time I've seen him. Thanks for tuning in, Drew. Justin, go ahead.
Just real quick, auditing Reno 911 has similar experiences with library free speech violations that have happened with me. So I've been aware of his stuff as well, because almost identical stuff happening. But anyways, so back to that.
Let's take a look at this, what actually happened that day. Now, if y'all remember, they came out of an executive session. This is September 9th when we went down there for the meeting. Jill talked, and they I don't even remember what she said, but care and even really care. But when it was over, she comes out and goes upstairs. Hold on. I guess I went too far. Here she is.
Jill, is this stalking? Is this stalking? Did you know that the stalking statute says that it doesn't apply when you're conducting official business, especially in the public, which is what we're doing? If you were trying to charge us with some bullshit charges, asking you about it, you said, "What would charge you with stalking now?"
Flaunting your laws, huh? Don't pull the door on me, you dumb bitch. Don't pull the door on me. You called me a... You know, that's exactly what happened right there. She could have just walked through the door and moved on her day, but she decided to turn around and hold that door.
Yeah. Do you have my camera angle as well?
I don't have yours in this one.
Oh, okay.
But in any case, I mean, she does that and then plays it like we've committed battery against her when she instigated that by turning around and holding the door.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why we filed a charge against her, because that's like, wouldn't that be like the definition of preventing somebody from doing their business there, when you're physically holding the door to prevent them from crossing through into the hallway to do some business?
Exactly.
I mean, and so for her to claim that that's battery, then it's like, well,
now
let's
go ahead and go a little bit forward here, because we did actually get with Deputy Love and talked about getting some charges filed here.
Joe, I need to file a complaint or a charge or something. I need to file a complaint or a charge. We got Jill Gillett, 2 reporters following her up there, trying to talk to her. She goes in and pulls the door and holds it and prevents our access.
Okay, I'll get your complaint form.
I don't want a complaint form. What's a complaint form going to do against an attorney who's above the law?
Well, is that not her office?
Not inside her office. This is the open public hallway that she's trying to prevent us access to. He's going to show you video of it.
I'll look at the video. That's the crash I heard.
Huh?
That's the crash.
That was when she tried to hold the door. I tried to pull on it and she let go and the door swung open.
I just heard a noise, that's why.
Yeah, that's what the noise was. But why is she trying to hold the door and prevent access like that?
Especially within the public, which is what we're doing. Because you were trying to charge us with some bullshit charges, so we're just asking you about it. You said, "We're going to charge you with stalking now."
Now listen to what he says about this.
She was holding the door on the other side of that.
Are we okay with people around here acting like that?
Well, I wouldn't appreciate it.
Okay, so what can we do about it?
The issue is we need to do something because now there is something up, there's a mark on the wall. We're saying that Jill initiated this. Cannot go unreported because of what you guys are trying to spin this
You
out.
guys are trying to say that I caused the whole thing.
I've seen the video.
Jill
We called that,
initiated
didn't we?
I've seen the video.
Right.
So you're agreeing that Jill initiated this?
I'm agreeing that you were pulling the door and she had a hold of it and it got out of both your hands. I mean, what I've seen, that's what I've seen.
There we go. Thanks, Joe.
But listen to the way he's got to mitigate it. You know, she had a hold of the door, you were pulling on it, and it got out of both your hands. You know,
Yeah. Which isn't doesn't go with what Jill is saying. Jill is saying that that's battery. He's saying no. What I saw is that it just kind of got out of you guys' hands. He's not like, dang, that looks like battery against her. He didn't see anything there, and
right.
But he saw enough then to go ahead and take the charge.
Yeah, he
down.
did. He took some information down and got out his little book and wrote it down.
Charge us with. If I held the door on her, that's what they would charge us with.
Probably also charged with some sort of kidnapping or preventing to areas or something, sure. Physically preventing someone to move around in public to do that.
But he gets out his pad of paper and he does all this writing, and he talks about the fact he'll have to get a hold of the attorney general to find out about a special prosecutor since she's an attorney committing criminal activity.
No. What he did is, we pause it for a second.
Yeah.
You'll see here in a second, but I say, so who's this run up to? Who you run this charge up to? Because knowing that when they were going to charge us, it was going from them right to Gillett. And so I was like, so I just asked him, who's this going to go up to? And he's like, well, basically he said, here when there's a charge, it goes up to the prosecutor, and then we're like, well,
no,
that's not fair. Yeah, that's not fair. How's that going to be fair? She's not going to charge herself. And so later he came back and said, I want you to know I reached out to the AG's office and to assign a special prosecutor or investigator to look at that instead of going to Jill. I was like, all right.
Right.
Joe. Yep, that's how that happened.
And now I would assume that's been probably dispensed with already. Very similar to, now I'll go ahead and let everybody know that the ODA complaint that was submitted, that's the disciplinary administrator complaint that was submitted about Jill Lyon previously in this case. They actually didn't move on that complaint. And the reason they didn't, they're saying that they don't have jurisdiction because it's a current criminal case. And so that complaint will be resubmitted once this case is over. However, it does beg the question, if you have this kind of conduct going on and you're trying to submit to a state agency to say, hey, this criminal trial is happening, this criminal prosecution, and we've got a prosecutor who is just sideways with her understanding of what's legal and what she's allowed to do. And it seems like we should be able to have some recourse to prevent the miscarriage of justice. And I just don't see how that's possible, in our third party position here, Justin.
No, I hear you. I mean, you can kind of see it both ways, but yeah, you'd like to be able to, if you see an injustice happening, to get it corrected in the moment rather than it going to pass, and then after the fact things can get straightened out. But
well, what if her lies get Robert convicted or something, and then it turns out that she gets proven to have lied and goes as far as getting disbarred even? He's got to still appeal. That doesn't automatically mean his bullshit conviction goes away.
Well, no, I hear you on this. Yeah, specifically for sure. But I'm wondering if the ODA is operating under some kind of specific, just blanket rule that they have that they just.
Well, it's a jurisdictional rule. If the case is under current court review, they don't get involved in it, and so I'm assuming that there are some extenuating circumstances where they would, obviously.
Well, I think I'm just hearing about this right now for the first time, I think. So I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head, really. I don't know. It just, yeah.
But Yeah, so he takes his information and we get all that, and he files a complaint on our behalf, and we're listed as the people who were victims. And I'm a victim, Justin is a witness, and she is the offender. And then in court today, suddenly we might be charged with battery. So
Yeah. Well, what's great about this is that, the way we present our case to Love there to file a complaint is what we had just been talking about. It's like, hey, if you guys can get us for it and you can get John
right.
and Nicole for that, then surely you can get her for this. I mean, she's holding the door. I mean, we can't even cross over to do business. He's like, and at that point, he's like, all right, you know what, that that's you got me there. And that's the thing. Like, if they're gonna flex the law like that and try to get citizens for some bullshit, that also fucking should apply to them 100%, no doubt about it. And so there we are.
Exactly.
But now it sounds
Exactly.
like that charge went nowhere, and now Jill. But even the way she phrased it in there, she didn't phrase it like I'm going to. She said I might. It's all just kind of floated out there as some kind of like veiled threat that or option that she has rather than a definitive thing, like how she wouldn't say if we were being charged or not. She said it was I don't comment on investigations. Oh, so there's an investigation going on.
There's
And
that's the mentality of a bully, and that's the behavior of a bully.
exactly.
And guys, that's the same thing that you see in your sheriff down there. And I got a little special treat for everybody down in.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh no, don't. Go ahead.
Well, I just
Go ahead, real quick.
because while we're talking about those kind of just bullshit charges that they come up and this lack of standard that they have. Well, I wanted to mention just real quick, we were walking up the stairs there in that video, and I was asking Jill about stalking, because she had that one of the times that we were up there, we had asked her some questions out in the hallway as her and Joe Love were walking to the elevator, and she had said that if we didn't
Accused
stop,
us of stalking. Yep.
yeah, she was going to charge us with stalking. And so if you look up the statute of stalking, it's specific. Like, we weren't doing anything that would have been stalking because it wasn't. There was like some kind of time or something or number of instances, but aside from all that, it specifically says if you're conducting public business with a public official, like with a legitimate reason, then you're exercising your right, then you cannot be charged for stalking. And so we were asking Jill a question about her job and specifically about these charges. So there she is again, trying to flex the law and apply it in a way, just like with this battery charge. Like it's like there was no contact made. But yet she's still gonna try and like threaten people away with bullshit charges.
Well, and that's her go-to, and that's why some things have to change down there. And I think Elk County knows that. You guys, I got a little treat for the people down in Elk County, and here you go.
Unnecessary tax spending. Put the criminals away. Don't let them right back out on the street. That's kind of like my biggest priority. Figure out how we can keep officers is another thing I'm going for.
You've had a lot of turnover?
Yeah, lots of turnover. I'm about transparency. The public, when they walk in there, they need to feel like they're safe and they can see who they're talking to. We need to add extra security upstairs in the court area. Which is separate. Then that would be acceptable. To harass the general public just to get in to pay their taxes. Officers need better training. I'm the approachable guy. Interact myself in the schools. We have one here in Longton, then we have one in Howard called West Elk. Now, we don't have the budget to put a resource officer out there, but my intention is to have me go in and make a presence known and let the kids get to see me, let the kids get to know me, let the kids get to trust me.
Right.
And know, hey, you got a problem.
Come to Sheriff Helms.
Yeah.
There you go.
Come to Sheriff Helms. He will do what he can to fix what's going on. We're here to protect and serve. That is our job.
This ad paid for by the community to elect David Helms, Sheriff, November 5th. Fuck that. Write his name in, people. You know what needs to happen. I think everybody knows what needs to happen.
Yeah, how
David
cool would
Helms
that
for
be?
sheriff.
How cool would that be if there was a write-in vote that got him in. That'd be so cool.
Well, and what if they had a sheriff down there that would actually walk up and arrest somebody for actually breaking a crime instead of intimidating people that are just trying to get into a courthouse to pay their taxes?
Yeah. Yeah, what's interesting about that footage there, that was from that parade we went to, and I think in July or August. But either way, he was the only one that talked to us of the three sheriffs. So the sheriff himself, and then there was another guy running, and then him.
Well, in Mueller's defense, he wasn't there at his
He wasn't
pickup.
there.
We didn't,
He wasn't there.
we didn't go back to try to catch up to him. But
yeah, I know. But
in
I
any
still think
case,
I still think it says something that
oh yeah,
he was the only one that we talked to, and we looked to talk to all three of them. And but he was quick to say that he didn't like the ID requirement to get into the courthouse, and also I think he said the ID requirement, but he also said the sheriff's office, he'd get rid of the black glass. And so he knew those things, and I just think it was really interesting about him is that he doesn't have any law enforcement background, but he was the only one that would recognize that. So it's like your everyday citizens that aren't on the other side in the system see what's going on. So although he doesn't have the experience of what like a law enforcement sheriff would have, he seemed to be able to recognize things that we haven't been able to get the actual law enforcement to recognize in terms of these violations that shouldn't be happening.
well, maybe he's not been indoctrinated. Maybe that's just all it is. It's that simple. He hasn't been indoctrinated into that way of thinking where everybody's a threat.
Right. So he's more like your everyday citizen in terms of that.
Yep. And I think he connects well with people. But Jill here, I'm going to pull this back up here because
to him withdrawing. Scheduling wise, we've got every efforts on our behalf of Mr. Walker, and including people following me up the stairs. I tried to stay calm, and they yanked a door out of my hand, which actually could result in charges of battery of an LEO, because I am a law enforcement officer in my acting duties. So in addition to that, there's other issues that are going on with that stuff. So it's just amped up, and I'm worried about security, as I've expressed before. And we've talked about security with Mr. House and you and myself. And so I just still am very concerned about security for the trial.
Well, the part that
I just hope Mr. Walker is in no way.
Do what?
The part that gets me is that none of that has anything to do with Robert's trial. None of it has to do with Robert's what happened with his case. None of it has anything to do with what's going on even right there in this motion. But she tries to link it all together by saying that we're acting on behalf of Robert, and it's like, what?
Well, it's building a narrative.
About?
She's working the narrative, Justin. I mean, it's that clear. She's got to continue to say this to the judge, who only has a limited amount of time each time to view evidence, but she embeds this idea in his mind that she's innocent and she's being screwed with by the entire world.
But and it has nothing at all to do with the case, and in fact her even taking the extra step to explain, well, I am a law enforcement officer. I mean, that really has nothing to do with that case in particular right there. It's like she's trying to talk to, I don't know, it's like she's trying to send a message, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. It's all a lie. It's all irrelevant. And so I see Robert shaking his head there, and it's like he's sitting there listening to her lie about this. I mean, she flat out just said that we're acting on his behalf, as if we have some kind of relationship with Robert where we're going and doing things on his behalf.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking about, lady? What evidence would you have for that?
Well, and I think now's a really good time to go ahead and address that, because that we've been accused of going down there in the sole interest of Robert or working on his behalf and this and that. And I think it's time to address on the record once again how we got involved down there. A video got out of that arrest, and I saw it, and I'm the one that made Justin aware of it. Neither of us had ever met Robert before that. And actually, we've only met Robert and Jennifer once down at the square that day. One day when we were down there, two times.
Yeah.
But in any case, we are not working on their behalf. We came down to Elk County, and I explained this to Jill. We came down to Elk County to see what was going on and to ask a few questions. And we got treated as horribly as Robert did. And instead of just cowering back or taking your threats of charges, we decided to attend a meeting or two. And we found a commission that was out of control, commissioners that thought they ruled the roost and could just demand people be silenced and thrown out of meetings at any whim.
And so threatened to throw you out and then wouldn't let me talk. So then now I'm invested in that. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah.
And so this, and our efforts down there haven't always been solely effort toward Jill. You know, she's made herself a spotlight of this with her lies in court. This is the second time, because in the pretrial hearing, this is after we'd been down there once on July 9th. At the pretrial hearing, she went in there and talked about how we were so threatening. And we did a live not too long ago, Justin and I, and talked about this. And we showed video of the interactions at the clerk's office and the interactions with other people in there. And even Deputy Love saying that there weren't any problems. He was talking to a commissioner and saying that we hadn't been any kind of a problem. And he offered us a tour of the courthouse. But in court, Jill turned that around to us practically being terrorists.
Yep. Yep. And inciting people to violence and stuff. It's like, damn, lady.
Right. And the one guy that I know of that actually spoke of any kind of threat of violence down there, I've already outed him. I don't even remember his name right now, but he showed up in my feed somewhere, and I asked him, "Are you the guy?" And he admitted something. Well, he said something pretty crass. I grabbed a screenshot of it before he deleted it, because I'm not going to get blamed for this guy being crazy and making threats. I didn't make threats.
No. And our messages consistently has always been to use our voices. That's always our consistent message.
Well, and to get them to follow the law. That's been the consistent thing. They need to follow the law. That's all it's been about.
Right. And so she's just making outlandish claims. And yeah, and like you said, we've only met Robert twice. I don't know where these are like leaps of imagination where she's trying to say that we're working on his behalf by doing what, Jill? By showing up to the courthouse and asking why you decided to you're thinking about pressing charges on me and Michael for no reason that has nothing to do with Robert at all. We were asking you specifically about what you were doing with your job and how you were treating us. You know, I don't understand.
Well, and not just us, how you're treating other people.
So the behalf part of it is like, so what, Robert had the foresight to know that you were going to have these charges brought against us and that we were going to be interested and we were going to walk up the stairwell asking you questions about that. We did that on his behalf because he knew that.
No, and we
knew that you were going to lose control of yourself and hold the door and act a complete fool. Yeah. Okay. We all got together there, Jill, for sure.
Justin, I don't remember asking Jill in person anything about Robert's case.
No, me neither. No,
I've sent her a couple emails about the case saying she should dismiss it and she's crazy for bringing these charges and doing all this stuff. But the only things that we've ever asked her in person have been about her behaviors toward us.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever sent her an email. I'm pretty sure I haven't. I don't think I have.
Well, I'm the one that usually fires off the emails, but
unless it was a Cora request, but I don't think I sent one to her. If I did, I think that would be it. But other than that, no, I hadn't any contact with her.
Now there's another aspect of this though, because hold on just a second here. I got something started by accident.
I don't even have contact with Robert online at all.
I see him on the Facebook, and he's in the local group down there that I joined to listen in and chat with. But
well, I don't have his number. I don't have anything. For her to say that we are acting together and on his behalf, it's like, lady, I've talked to him twice when I've seen him twice in Elk County. That's it. That's the only time I've talked to him.
And guys, here's another thing that's happened as a result of this, and it's not just about Robert. It's about the way the court system down there operates. I'm going to pop this up on the screen here. This is a hearing that happened the other day, and I actually put this up to ask some questions about it, and people were just as perplexed as I was. Just listen into this for a minute. It's about 2-3 minutes, 2:47.
Good afternoon. Are you Jasmine Goodrich?
Yes, sir.
All right. Looks like you were arrested on some drug-related charges, but it looks like the state is not filing charges at this time. Is that correct, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, I have had the opportunity to communicate with my colleagues regarding this matter. The state at this time would request that this matter be reset to the upcoming Wednesday first appearance docket in 48 hours.
All right, I'm assuming the state will have charges filed at that time.
I would anticipate so, Your Honor, given the nature of this request, which the state does acknowledge is somewhat unusual, but the state does maintain it is appropriate under these circumstances.
All right, Ms. Goodrich, the state doesn't have charges filed today, but it sounds like they're going to have that done within the next 2 days. So I'm going to reschedule your first appearance for Wednesday at 1:30. What's the state wanting to do regarding Ms. Goodrich's further detention?
Your Honor, at this point, if the court is prepared to just send this over to the Wednesday docket, that is all my office has at this point.
Now you notice Rozier is not going to ask for a bond. He didn't directly ask for a bond, but listen to what happens here.
Okay, are you only being held on this, Ms. Goodrich?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, first offense.
All right, I'm gonna release you on an OR bond, $1,000 OR bond.
Now, granted, it's a $1,000 OR bond, meaning that she's not paying any money today. But God, I've got so many questions about how that went down. You don't have the prosecutor. I mean, the prosecutor's kind of tripping over himself on what to say there. He says, "Well, we're just gonna move this to the Wednesday docket. That's all we want to do." You know, he's not going to comment on much else. And then having well, we're going to set this for a court date, and you might have some charges coming before then, so just be prepared. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, where was that?
That was in was that Elk County? No, Butler County.
That's here in Kansas.
But this is in the 13th district, and this is my point: is Jill has brought more scrutiny than just to her. I mean, because she's got me watching this 13th district feed and watching some of the shit she gets away with, and seeing some of the other weird stuff that goes on down there that I haven't seen in courts. That I've watched a lot of court hearings in my time, and I haven't seen some of the weird shit that's gone on down here.
Yeah, wasn't it interesting that prosecutor didn't have to answer the judge's question?
Well, he answered it like a prosecutor would. But this is the scrutiny that Jill brings, you know, and when she, if we'd have gone down there and we'd have ran into a nice county that everybody was nice and treated us well and welcomed us and acted like we were just guests in their town and looked forward to seeing us, I expect we both would have probably walked away thinking that Robert was just an asshole for making waves.
Well, yeah, I still would have thought that something was wrong there, but and you would as well. But no, I hear what you're saying. It would have been. I made a video about that shortly afterwards. You know, it would have been done and over with. Went down and checked it out because I was interested in just because seeing Robert being unlawfully arrested for exercising his rights, that hits home to me because I've had two of those. And so when I saw that, and then on top of how he was physically, you know, attacked by his captors there while he was cuffed, it looked really bad. And so I wanted to just go down and just check it out that first day, and just immediately just ran into just obstacle and uncooperative people and downright kind of rude and nasty and for no reason at all, really, for no reason at all. And so then that just kind of, because of them, it just kind of kept going, because shortly after that, then the notion of those charges came up. And so then it's just, you know, here we are. And then the commission wouldn't let me talk because I said some cuss words in there. I mean, it was just, you know, and that's outside of Jill Gillett. That's outside of Robert Walker. That's the commission. It's a separate thing. And so you're right. If everyone would have just been cool and allowed us to come in and ask questions and film as they would if, like, you know, an NBC affiliate was showing up there, or the Wichita Eagle was showing up there. I hardly doubt that they would be that resistive to them, and that's more or less what we were looking into, and we were filing some core requests and just taking a look at stuff as we have the right to, and it would have been just done and over with at that point. But nope, they just had to escalate it, really.
Well, and that's just to let everybody know as well. There's another county in Kansas that has grabbed some attention here, and that's Jackson County. I went up there to go to a meeting and see what the deal was, and I ran into the same kind of thing. And interesting, the county clerk seems nice, just like down in Elk County. But the three commissioners seem like they're a little headstrong and need an adjustment. I know you haven't been there yet, but you saw what happened. It's going on everywhere, guys. It's going on everywhere. And the community, wherever you're at, you guys got to start standing up, and you guys got to start attending these meetings. You got to record them. I'm not seeing a lot of these smaller counties that have these on the record somewhere where the citizens can go back and review them. Let's get somebody in each county going in and making a recording of the meeting and posting it on the web. Establish a channel for each county. That way the citizens there can go back and listen to their commission vote, listen to the way their commission acts. And then once you've got that kind of engagement, then start watching your courts. I mean, there's plenty of court watching channels, but the thing I'm disappointed in, Justin, is I see a lot of these court watching channels are basically just making fun of the people that are involved in the system that somehow have gotten detained and arrested for some bullshit. And they're like a good target to make fun of at that point in time. Bootlicker crowd, I guess, is what you call them.
Yeah, so they're more interested in making the supposed criminal look bad, but meanwhile, on the flip side of it, that supposed criminal is on the opposite side of a system that's lying and doing all kinds of shit to stack. Potentially, that's the case, but you just never know unless you go and look at it. That's the thing, is like there's this automatic trust that's placed into the system like that they're always doing the right thing and they're always up and up, but. As we've shown, just showing up one day to a county there and just look at the lies you see from Jill Gillett and the sheriffs as well, trying to do those charges against us and stuff. And so you're right, it's everywhere. It's where you least expect it as well. It's there.
Well, and Nicole makes a good point. Some of these other meetings, I know in Lawrence, we have ours in the evening time where a lot of people can attend if they choose. We don't get enough people there. But I see that in these other smaller counties, they're having these meetings in the middle of the morning, middle of the day, when most of the people are at work, when people can't attend, when it's a choice whether they're going to attend this meeting where they may not even be heard, or there might even just be shut down and just kicked out of the meeting, or they can choose to go to work and make their money for the day. And that's not really an acceptable choice. If these, and I hear these commissioners talk about it all the time. We so value your input. We want your participation. We value each and every email, even if we don't respond. But they do these things that create a block for the actual participation that they claim to want.
Right. And so it does sound like getting something like that changed by going and talking to the commissioners isn't going to happen. So it seems like the next thing that would have to happen is people like Nicole that see that as an issue need to run for office or help to get people put into office to get those commissioners out of there, to start to make those kind of simple changes so that it provides, like Nicole makes a great point. If that gets changed to a time where more people can attend, it's encouraging participation in the process.
Well, in some of these smaller counties, they can probably get enough signatures to actually do a ballot measure to change it, or do something of that nature to force it. If there's enough people in the county that sign on to it, if an overwhelming majority of people say, I want our meeting to happen on Wednesday evening, or Wednesday's a big church night, but maybe Thursday evening, at 6 o'clock. That way everybody can attend. Yeah. And if the majority of the people go to the commission and say that, those commissioners are going to have to make that change.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, do something like that. Get that going. Because it is it's a very bad time. It's Monday at 1 o'clock, and I remember I used to teach a class every Monday at 1 o'clock, and I'd always say it's like I already have 2 strikes against me. It's frickin' Monday, and it's right after lunch.
Right.
Same thing with these meetings. Monday right after lunch. Come on now. Come on now. Do that at like do that at like 5:30 or something. And so what if those county employees have to stay an hour, a couple hours every week late on those days? Who cares? Get the participation going. If
Well,
that's
and
true, if that's truly the obstacle, which I'm sure it is,
well, I question the timing of the meeting, because even when we, like here in Lawrence, we have the meeting at a time where people could be in there, but a lot of the people that I see on Facebook just bitching about things, I don't see them down at the meetings. I see them maybe watching online, but they're again, like we've talked, they're not getting the full perspective of what's going on in that room online, and they're not hearing the full room either. During some of those tax protest debates and things that were going on in there, the microphones were not catching up a lot of what was going on out in the room and the criticism that was coming there. And you really need to be in person if you're going to see that kind of thing.
Right. And yeah, and so then issues start to happen when the rights violations take place there, and you got the government that's trying to cover up the meetings the way they are.
Well, and it's because they're making moves that they know aren't popular. And we see that around here. Well, we've got our Karen here, our local Karen, that I put a video out on today, and she got caught by the Lawrence Beat. But guys, we got a problem down in Elk County, and it's not going to end anytime soon. I don't know if Jill has any plans of actually charging us, but we're not going away, and you're not going to scare us off with these threats. And as I said in the email, I'll just go ahead and put that back up. I'm going to be following your career to its end, and your misconduct and lies will do that. That's not going to be done by us. We don't even have to do anything. All we are there is just asking a few questions, and you're acting out.
I know, man, and this shit is like just straight up slander, man. She's just straight up saying that we're doing things that we're not doing. She's even lumped me in as she's going to charge battery against me as well. What was I doing? I was 20 feet behind you guys filming. I'm not even saying you did anything. I'm saying that I was. She's lumping me in there as well. And it's all made up. She's saying that you battered her, and it's not true. At what point is it's like, hey, you're lying on us, Jill, and it could have serious consequences. There needs to be something that stops she's to stop her from continuing.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the disciplinary committee complaint. I wish that wasn't hindered by this jurisdictional aspect, and that they could actually look into an attorney who is actively lying in an active criminal case. And the difficult thing is the thing she's trying to put on the record in there, it's more slanderous than legally firm. She's not getting anywhere really in court with this, but it is a lot of slander on a record that's permanent, basically.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she is making headway with that and painting Robert as some kind of guy is trying to, whatever she's trying to paint. Maybe she is making headway. Who knows? Because she's keeping doing it.
Well, I got to say, I hope it doesn't work. And
me too. Me too. It's
right?
It's dirty. It's just dirty. It's because it's just so it's not true. And then we all got to sit there and just watch her do that, I guess. Just sit there and watch her just lie on me, lie on you in an attempt to make Robert guilty. And we just have to just sit there.
No, I'm not just sitting there. I'm not just sitting down. She's going to have to do battle if she wants to take me down. She's not going to be able to do it with lies. And that's just, I don't have much more to say on that. So,
yeah.
Guys, I guess I'll open it up to the floor. Is there any questions out there? With you guys looking through the chat here? And I'll just be honest, the drama that's going on other channels, I like you guys and everybody. I want y'all here, but I don't want that drama on my channel. And I don't really think, I won't speak for Doc. I'll let him speak for himself, but I don't want it on my channel.
I don't either, man. I don't either. I hope that the people that are watching our stuff recognize that me and Michael are doing we're not just opening up a live stream and him and I just riffing and drinking and smoking and shit like that and talking nonsense. No, we're targeted getting on specific topics that are happening on the ground here to us as a way to shed light on it, yes, but also in the process of shedding light on it, to educate people on what's going on and revealing of what's going on there to inspire them to also want to do that. We're intentional. We're not just sitting here. We don't have time for that drama bullshit. We don't even want to get involved in. We're actually doing something. We're actually doing
Right.
something.
Well, and making
we're not-
headway, because I mean, honestly, we're making some headway. We're able to go in and speak for 3 minutes at a time in the county meeting now. We've got Elk County that is so far, again, letting us speak. The commissioners aren't freaking out and shutting you down like they were. Little bits of headway here and there is a great thing. And I think it starts to teach them a lesson that they need to shape up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what we're about. We're about that little bit of headway, and we can't fix it in these other counties that we talk about. We can't even fix our own problems here. All we can do is shine a light on them, and it's up to the people. It's not two guys. Two guys can't take down the system. It's up to the people to stand up, make the votes, make sure you're doing research on your candidates and choosing the ones that represent the values that you hold dear. Don't just listen to what they say that you think that. I got sidetracked here by a chat here. Let's, why do you want your wrench removed? Did you not vote? You need to vote this year. But you guys got to take control of your government. And we're just shining a light.
And also, it's I think it's important for Americans to exercise their rights and going and speaking and just showing up. That's exercising your rights. I mean, if you're not doing that, then I think you're just what a shame, really. What a shame. Because those are really important things. Those are rights that not everybody has in the world, and so just take advantage of it as your American kind of duty, I suppose. No matter how you're feeling or how you're thinking, just your American duty, I suppose. Especially if you recognize how serious things are in the world and how wrong things are. I think you do have a duty to just start exercising your rights more visibly, I suppose. I guess.
Well, I think we've just about covered it there. I'll leave you with this. I saw a meme the other day that every right that you don't express today is one that your grandchildren will never know existed.
That's right.
Because they'll take them away.
That's right.
Guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing more out of Jill and seeing if she wants to file some charges or just keep talking. Again, Robert's going to be on trial. It looks like November 6th, 7th, and 8th. If you do plan to attend that or plan to come down there, you need to make sure that your behavior is going to be reflective and it's going to hurt him. So make sure you're not doing stupid shit. If you're going to go down there, be respectful in the courtroom. Don't make a scene. Don't
even talk. You're not even supposed to be talking.
You're an observer if you go in that courtroom. You're there to watch and you're not there to participate.
That's it. Yep. You're an observer. Anything outside of that is a disruption. So there you go. Just
exactly. And any disruption, Jill is going to try to use as a lever to use against him. I mean, I think we've already seen that she's tried to lie and make all kinds of associations that aren't accurate. So we know that she'll do that with this kind of stuff. So everybody have a good night. Everybody down in Elk County, stay safe and make sure to get involved. I'd like to see more people at those meetings. You got another one coming up this next Monday. Everybody have a good night. Lawrence Accountability and Dr. Justin Spees signing off. We can't do the outro like that anymore, guys. I changed it. I'll have to fix that for next week. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.